O hidden life, vibrant in every atom, O hidden light, shining in every creature, O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. So, good evening, friends.
Good evening.
Today's session in Shankar Lodge will be taken by Brother V.D. Tendulkar ji. He is a national lecturer and a long-standing member of Theosophical Society, and he has taken several talks earlier also in Shankar Lodge, both physically as well as in the virtual online sessions also. Today's topic is essential unity, basic pattern of existence. So I will request now uh, Brother Tendulkar ji to start his lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Rajiv Gupta ji. At the outset, I am thankful to office bearers of the Shankar Lodge as well as those of the Delhi Theosophical Federation for giving me this opportunity to express my views on essential unity, basic pattern of existence. We are discussing about the, as it has been said in secret doctrine, the radical unity of all existence. Radical meaning the fundament. And this we will try to trace at different levels of existence in terms of, say, different kingdoms of nature, different levels of existence so far as different globes, planets, and the solar systems and the universe are concerned. And also the different levels of beings at different levels of evolutionary progress. Apparently, we hardly find any unity at our physical level. And therefore, the topic is apparently in contradiction so far as our perception with our senses is concerned. What we see is mostly what exists in the visible world. And in the visible world, we find so much of variety and diversity. There are kingdoms, and in each kingdom there are sub-kingdoms representing different types of being. There are minerals of different kinds, there are plants of different kinds, animals of different kinds, and we have human beings where also we find different races of human beings and sub-races, nationalities, communities, and so on. So, variety and diversity is there everywhere. Even in relationships of the beings who are inhabiting in these various worlds, unity is really questionable. We find quarrels, we find violence, wars, lack of friendship within the family, in the neighborhood, in the community, within caste, religions, nations. There are wars going on, resulting into so much of violence, crimes happening, display of so much of selfishness, cruelty. So, where is unity and brotherhood? That comes as a big question mark. But we are talking of essential unity. This refers to the essence of the nature of existence. What is apparent is not really the reality of existence. As we often say, it is more illusory and subjective. We see inequality also, and in varying degrees. The difference between those at the low level and high level is so much that there is a feeling of injustice without justification. So, if we see from different angles, different points of view, the picture is really disappointing from the point of view of consideration of unity. So, we have to go beyond what is apparent, what is on the surface. We are told that everything begins from one all, which is also referred to as absolute. And that absolute is without attributes, therefore beyond our mind. We cannot think about it, imagine about it. Mostly it is described not as what it is, but what it is not. Neti, neti. So we eliminate all possibilities of what is within the scope of mind. Therefore, unless we go beyond mind, beyond senses, it's really difficult to appreciate the existence of essential unity. When we say everything flows from one source, that source is absolute, unmanifest, and has no direct connection with the manifest. It has been described in secret doctrine in various ways, like causeless cause, rootless root, which shows that our ordinary way of relating things in the sequence of cause and effect fails here. But still, it remains a fact that what we find in the manifested universe is a reflection of what exists as reality in the unmanifest. Manifest is a shadow of that reality. And shadow is not a real thing, and therefore it is called Maya or illusion. What is one, therefore, cannot manifest. For the sake of manifestation, it becomes dual. And there we come to the spirit and matter. These two things have a common source, but they cannot manifest or exist in the manifested universe independently. They are like two faces of one coin. Hence, we have to understand his basic nature of manifested universe. Purusha and Prakriti. Prakriti is the existence which is within the scope of mind, while the spirit is beyond mind. So is the Purush, the other counterpart of the Prakriti. There are, as we have mentioned, different states of existence. There are different planes or globes. And the existence of these globes is a necessity for the expression of the spirit or consciousness at different levels of existence. Consciousness permeates through different globes or planes. At the highest or the subtlest level, it uses the uh, process of emanation, as we see from the monad or even the logos. There is a beautiful description in the form of dialogue between a teacher and a student, or master and disciple. The master tries to find whether the disciple has really grasped this essential unity of existence. The master asks the student or the disciple, "What do you see above thee in the midnight sky? Are there lamps burning? How many?" And the disciples' answer is, "I see one flame, and in it, undetached, innumerable sparks. Are these sparks identical or different? That is the next question. And answer is, they are all one. But because of the outer garments, people think your soul and my soul, they differentiate it. So this differentiation is a subjective perception. It is perception through senses or mind. But a disciple who has been able to transcend the mind, go beyond the mind, and is able to see the reality, knows that these innumerable sparks shining within the flame are all alike. They are undetached. That is also another adjective which is there. So there is that relationship with the source existing. It is the extension, you can say, of the source through the different planes of existence. And in that, there is combination of those higher principles, Atma, Buddhi, Manas. As the monad descends down to the grosser levels from the subtler levels. That's why it takes different forms. Forms are appropriate for the expression of the spirit or the consciousness. Subtler the vehicle, the expression of the spirit is without obstruction or less obstruction. As the subtlety decreases or grossness increases, the expression of the spirit diminishes until it reaches the grossest physical level or physical body in case of man. That explains how the garments obstruct the view of reality explained by the disciple. The obstruction is because of the garments or the vehicles or upadhis which are created for the soul. They limit the freedom of the soul. And soul has to overcome those limitations by appropriation of the vehicles to suit his needs of expression. So, the essence of the monad is continuing even though the planes and corresponding vehicles are different and becoming grosser and grosser. It's a process of involution and evolution. In involution, the soul gets more and more confined and loses its freedom in increasing degree, and then there is a process of evolution. So we can see that the essence continues in evolution, and on the way return back on the path of evolution. and ultimately meets the one source from which it emanated. So that is the essential unity, as we can see from the journey of the monad through different globes or planes of existence. This is applicable not only to human beings, it is applicable to all kingdoms of nature, particularly on the visible planes. We can see that there are minerals, plants, animals, and then human beings. But there are invisible worlds also, and therefore invisible beings also. If we see the chart, here you will see the different classes of kingdoms. There are 10. The upper three are representing Dhyani Chauhanic kingdom. The bottom three represent the elemental kingdom, and in between there are human, animal, land, and mineral kingdom. So, this hierarchy of kingdoms also explains their interdependence in the plan of evolution. We talk of generally God as a creator. In occult philosophy, the creator is not extra cosmic. He is a part of the cosmos. Creator and creation are not separate. So, he is a part of the whole system. It is a collective being, we can say, like an army. In the army, there is the chief of the army at the top, soldiers at the bottom, and in between there are various authorities, stages in the hierarchy with different powers, functions, and responsibilities. Here, this also indicates the grades of evolution. At the stage below mineral kingdom, it is the process opposite of evolution, involution. From mineral kingdom onwards, there is evolution. And therefore, we find that for evolution of these four kingdoms, mineral, plant, animal, human, the kingdoms which are above in evolution Dhyani Chauhans. They are the active cooperators with the one initiator or the silent watcher, or who is considered to be the chief of the hierarchy. Generally, chief designation is used to indicate the power and control over the entire system. Here the term is indicative of the highest stage of evolution. So, it is not a separate authority, it is a collective thing as one existence. Like, say, in case of brotherhood, the great white brotherhood, when we say, we refer to all the adepts who are members of the great white brotherhood. There are ranks between them, which is the principle of hierarchy, gradations. But the gradations are more reflective of their development rather than the power and control over subordinates. In this scheme of hierarchy, there are greater beings and lesser beings, we can say, according to the level of evolution reached. So, one at the summit or the highest position influences the entire system. He provides a field for operation of those below him. So, if we look from below, those, say, at the level of mineral kingdom or at the plant kingdom or animal kingdom or human kingdom, they will get the light from the divine source for their evolution. At the lower levels, lower than the human beings, the process of evolution is natural, which means by natural force, with the guidance of the um, higher beings, Dhani Chauhans, and with the assistance of the elementals. Elementals are used by the Dhyani Chauhans as nature spirits in this process. So, it's a collaboration or cooperation in the entire system. All form together as an integrated interdependent system. There is heterogeneity and therefore variety, diversity, not only between the kingdoms, but within the kingdom also. In minerals, we can see this. Where we find the highest development, like say crystallization process, jewels, diamonds, they are the highly developed or evolved constituents of the mineral kingdom. Same is the case with other kingdoms. In plants, we will find so many varieties. There are small plants, there are big plants like pimple or banyan trees. They indicate the level of evolution. So from one stage, subplane in a kingdom, there is evolution to the higher subplane of that kingdom. And from transmission from one kingdom to another, that also takes place. But all this is a gradual process and which requires time because it is a process in the physical world or in the visible world or material world. Matter is, as we know, mortal. In the sense, the vehicle used by the spirit is of material. And that vehicle is usable by the owner of the vehicle, the dweller of the vehicle, the spirit, as long as spirit can use it for its expression. When that utility is over, the vehicle is no longer needed to survive. And there is disintegration and death of the vehicle. The mortal portion of the existence. But there is the immortal portion, the spirit and the subtle, refined, higher vehicles which are used by the spirit, like say Atma, Buddhi, Manas, which we normally refer to as the individuality. So that survives. And the material of the lower vehicles goes to the common pool of that plane. If it is physical body, it will go to physical plane. Astral will go to astral plane. Mental will go to mental plane. So the differentiated matter, which is used for making of the vehicles, goes back to the original state, which is the undifferentiated matter. And it may be used for appropriate purposes from the common pool of that kind of material on that plane. So, matter also remains because that is required for again reincarnation. It's a periodical thing, law of periodicity, law of continuity, law of progress or evolution. It is not just an evolution in the linear way, as Darwin's theory says. It is a circular, you can say, in the sense it repeats in the cyclic order. But again, this cyclic process is not linear, it is moving in the upward direction, like spiral. So, this process is applicable at different levels or planes and subplanes of existence. So, we can see here that the essence travels. It's a compulsory pilgrimage of that essence, so that it evolves ultimately in the image of the heavenly man, the ideal or the archetype in the divine mind or universal mind. So, this idea, divine idea, is the goal of evolution. During that period of activity or manvantara, the evolutionary force drives the jiva in that direction to reach that stage of divine ideation or archetype. Only difference is when it comes to the stage of human kingdom, the evolutionary process doesn't remain simply a natural process. In fact, it is more a self-directed and self-driven process. And in that sense, man is the maker of his destiny because he takes his destiny into his hands. But it is subject to, again, karmic forces, the law of adjustment, law which ensures maintenance of balance and equilibrium. So much depends upon the individual, so far as his evolutionary journey is concerned. How he utilizes his incarnation from incarnation to incarnation. What kind of karmic forces he generates, and what effects those produce, which he has to work out either in the remaining period of incarnation or in the next incarnation. So it depends upon how the individual utilizes the opportunities coming in his way in his life. Wrong actions will create obstacles for him, right actions will help him progress rapidly on the path of evolution. So, right and wrong will depend upon, again, what helps or what obstructs the progress towards the ultimate destination, that is, reaching that divine ideal, which is, or the archetype, which is placed before him. That which ensure in this process, as I mentioned earlier, he is helped by greater beings. And lesser beings cooperate with the greater beings in the execution of the divine plan. So, greater beings are the executors of the plan in the, say, shaping of the beings, and lesser beings help them in the building according to the shapes given by the higher ones, greater ones. So here again we find that there is a process of interdependence. It is a collective living, collective existence. And to realize this collective existence and collective responsibility, and fulfilling that collective responsibility through collective cooperation, is the need for reaching the ultimate goal of this compulsory pilgrimage. Once that stage is attained, the evolution in that kingdom will be over. But it will open the gate for evolution in the next kingdom. So, if we consider human kingdom, the ultimate destination will be to reach the stage of, say, adaptation, stage of perfection in the process of human evolution. But that does not put an end to the process of evolution. That's why in the chart we have seen there are Dhani Chauhan, class 1, class 2, class 3. So there are stages. In case of masters, we call them Chohans, Mahachohans, Bodhisattva, Buddha. These designations are again indicative of their spiritual evolution or achievements on the path of spirituality. Because that also corresponds to various kinds of powers developing within them, powers which are latent, which become patent in the process of evolution. And according to the powers, there are responsibilities also. So, if one works in the right direction, there is opening up of the latent powers and getting opportunities to discharge higher functions. So, this is again a continuous process where the essence unfolds more and more. And every spark, though it is from the same source, and though it is identical with all other sparks, still it is distinct from every other spark. So it's little difficult to grasp these apparently contradictory statements. There is unity, but at the same time there is distinction from every other unit coming from the same source. And the purpose of evolution is to develop that distinction, that distinctive quality within the unit to its fullness as per the divine plan or the divine ideation in the universal mind. Those at the higher stage, we have to conclude. Those at the higher stage are a source of inspiration and guidance for those who are at the lower stage of evolution. As I mentioned earlier, higher stage entities offer their field as home for the lower entities. So they are thus remaining in the sphere of influence of the divine source. The original source from which everything else has emanated or emerged. So, in that sense, the essential unity is maintained in every kingdom, at every level of existence, and the divine plan is realized by all who are covered in that Manvantara, by the end of Manvantara, but those who are by self-efforts, self-direction and driving are ahead of the rest of the beings in that group always are the trendsetters, we can say, for others, inspirers for others, providing light to others who are in the darkness of ignorance. So the whole scheme of evolution is meant for evolution of all beings, but with the object that every unit will maintain, preserve, and develop that uniqueness, that distinction which is attached to it right from the beginning in the divine mind. So we have come to the end of the lecture. For the time being, we have a lot more to cover, which perhaps whenever opportunity comes, we will continue, where we can perhaps discuss different hierarchical schemes from the East and the West and see how far knowledge of those schemes will further enhance the clarity of this concept of essential unity, the basic pattern of existence. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who wishes to add or wants to ask a question? So I think, brother, your talk was very lucid, clear. You showed this slide from which book? If people want to know, they want to read that book.
Where from the divine plan by
Geoffrey
Geoffrey Barborka.
Barborka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to read that book, it's a very nice book, a detailed book,
Yeah.
based on the discussions on the secret doctrine, as far as I remember. These were a group of students who wish to study the secret doctrine, and these are the notes from that discussion, as far as I remember, regarding that book.
This book
So
is
if there are no, yes, yes,
yeah, this book is considered as one of the best commentaries on secret doctrine,
yes,
which has maintained the contents of the secret doctrine intact without deviating from the originality of secret doctrine.
yes, brother, yes. So if there is no one who wishes to add or to ask a question, we will close the talk with thanks to Brother B.D. Tendulkar ji for sharing his knowledge with us. And we come to the close of this meeting and with the universal invocation. O hidden light, vibrant in every atom, O hidden light, shining in every creature, O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. So thank you to all, thank you to all. Thank you to Brother Tendulkar ji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
Meeting is